Help.
So here's the thing, folks. Water and sewer infrastructure is the most expensive infrastructure to maintain, right? When you think about it.
Then how did the
think about
Romans
your
get it right
homes.
2,000 years ago?
If you 10 years ago or 15 years ago stopped investing in maintenance in your home, you know, it may not be in great shape today, right? So the increases that, yes, you as a community have invested in your infrastructure because it's expensive infrastructure and it's costly to maintain. But I'll tell you, it's even costlier if you don't maintain it.
We're not asking about that, we're asking about getting the proper funding that we deserve based on the proper data.
Maybe we should have started a long time ago instead of starting in 2014, and our rates have already doubled since then.
Double?
There's your rate increase, nothing,
300%.
and then all of a sudden in 2013, you decide, oh, our stuff's falling apart.
So we're not here to address some of the issues that may or may not have been addressed from years past. We're only here to address what we can address forward.
Again and again.
Then we all should have been involved the whole time.
Well, and I think we would like to have been.
Needed
But
proper disclosure.
What we're doing here, for those of us who pay mortgages around here, we'd like to continue on with Georgette and let her finish her slide.
So here's this comparison.
Who are you?
I would like Diane just for us to finish our presentation.
Here's a comparison of the water rates for Christian Valley
He has a
and
for sale
nearby
sign up on
communities.
his
So
phone.
these last two bars here are Christian Valley current and Christian Valley proposed for 2020, right? So we've got it's kind of, I know the font is super small. So Meadow Vista, Weimar Water, Georgetown, Midway Heights, Forest Hill, QD, and then the current rate. So you can see that, like, of these neighboring communities, the current rate is kind of either at the lower end or in the middle. And that this current proposal for the current year still is not the highest of these communities. And then also, these, Georgetown is in the process of a rate increase right now, a rate study and a rate increase. And was there one more? Midway and Forest Hill as well. So three of these, actually four of them really, actually you have all four. CVP. So all of these rates are also going up. So Christian Valley is going to be right there, you know, along the cost of your neighboring communities.
Yeah, they're trying to price other people out of other communities. That has nothing to do with this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get that, but absolutely. So I think what's important to me in looking at that graph is Christian Valley is in a good spot right now. You have a compliance system, it works. What you're trying to do is get out ahead of it, because when things start to go bad, you're going to not be in that position and you're going to be inconvenienced and whatnot. So even with the rate increase, to plan to redo your storage, start fixing, replacing old pipes, you're still right in the running with a lot of these other agencies that aren't.
Okay, that's your opinion, and you're not a board member.
We need to get through a couple more slides, so if you don't mind, thank you for waiting for that. Thanks, Georgia, appreciate your time. So, next slide, Chris.
So one of the things we have, raising rates, obviously is not popular. We feel that some of the boards in the past maybe have kicked the can, and to the lady's point, yes, the increases have been steep, and we're trying to compensate for some lost time. And for people who've been here for 30, 40 years, I don't think you've had a rate increase in that time.
Yes, we have.
You've had several. So we don't want to kick. We would like to keep going on
Don't
the.
say we didn't. Because we did.
So our system belongs to our community, our Christian Valley community. It is a great asset. It is an appreciating asset. Factors in our favor. System is currently in compliance. We have time to start. If we delay our start, it is going to result in a higher increase later. So it'll be a different conversation at a later point. Right now, it's not forced, but in the future it may be. Back in '72, we had the infrastructure, it was the Clean Water Act, right, of '72? And now, it's not just a California epidemic, it's not just a Christian Valley problem, it's a national epidemic for water systems throughout the country. And now we're in a repair and replace kind of era mode. We don't want to be left on an island, we need to be able to maintain our water source, and I think the water district has done, more importantly, Jerry has done a great job of keeping water during the power outages. If we have any seismic activity, we lose our water supply, we're out of water. And we want to make sure we have this increase to support some of the projects that we have in place to maintain the water during a seismic activity.
Which we only have one of them.
So, without financing, eventually, our community's legacy will be a failed system, and we don't want to have that. So,
But my question is still the same. You're smiling, but why are we paying for all these people who are not paying anything? I mean, go to the state, pay tax or something. But we're paying for a lot of people.
So this is,
They're paying nothing.
okay, so before we get to public comment, so one quick thing, we're gonna have Scott talk to us a little bit about Prop 218 and how it works.
Yes. I've been your district council for a long time now, working with Dawn. I went through the last rate increase hearing, and many of you were here and were concerned then. There is a process set forth in the law by which you have the ability to have your voices heard on it, and also if enough of you feel that it's an inappropriate rate increase, you can, by a majority protest, vote it down essentially. But it is not an election in the regular sense. This is your Proposition 218 set forth the standards and requirements for increases in taxes, local taxes, and in fees and charges that are charged on a property-related basis. Water rates are a property-related charge, but the draftsman of Prop 218 felt that water was such a key and vital resource that you did not want to make it subject to too much complication to get a rate increase through. So what they've done is they said there's no vote required, but those property owners get notice, a rate structure, a rate study has to be done to justify it. That no increase can be adopted that isn't reasonably justified by the needs of the community. And then once the rate study is out, it has to be made available to all of you. You have to be notified individually of what the rate increase will be for your property. And you have an opportunity to submit a written protest and come to a public hearing, which we're holding tonight, to have your voice heard by the board of directors. So this is a very democratic process, and this is your opportunity to talk with the board, have them listen to you, and if you feel strongly enough about it, to submit a written protest of that proceeding. But you do have to be either a property owner or a tenant who, by written terms of their lease, is obligated to directly pay the water rate. So with that, those are the kind of the rules. We'll be taking protests at the end of the hearing, and if they come up to the 314, I believe it is, that is required, then the water rate would be voted down.
Mr. Brown, you know that I already submitted a protest of the invalid and the hearing notices being invalid. You may address that now.
Okay, yes, there was a question. The notices were only directed at property owners. Technically, under Prop 218, the term property owner is defined as those owners who are actually own the property as a matter of record, or those tenants who, under their lease, and can show by the very terms of their lease that they're directly obligated to pay the water rate. That was a correction that was brought to our attention, and as a result, we issued a supplemental notice, and with regard to any tenants. But the law does not require the notice to go to tenants. The law is very specific that it only goes to the property owner. And it's up to those property owners, if they want to notify tenants, they may do so. So we believe we've substantially complied with the requirements of law. However, if there's a significant number of tenants here tonight who can show that they are legally obligated to pay, and they are genuinely prejudiced by the not giving them the full 45 days, I will certainly ask the board to consider whether they would continue this hearing.
But that's not the only issue with that notice, that the grace schedule in the back is also complete. It's out by an entire year, so not just the renters are issue with that. So I am contending that the board postpone and continue this hearing for votes for another 45 days.
And that is exactly why there's a public hearing here. This is your opportunity at the appropriate time, please, to raise that point and for the board to consider it. And, you know, they're here to do what you...
Who also sent you a letter stating that their opinion was that this should be continued.
Yes, they did send that. I respectfully disagreed with them. So with that, I think we'll just go ahead and please.
Your area of expertise, please, for everybody. What your area of law.
Okay. I've been practicing law for 41 years. I started out in the county council office in Nevada County. I've represented public agencies, water districts, fire districts. I represent local agency formation commissions, which has to deal with all of those agencies. And I've been doing that for 41 years.
In land use.
And land use. So
but you're
it
not
isn't
a constitutional attorney, correct?
well, I'd say I have considerable experience dealing with the constitutional issues of the local
This is
government.
not your
This is precisely it.
Good Lord, man.
That's your 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Sky. Okay, so next slide. So this is the end of the presentation pretty much. I'm just going to quickly summarize what was discussed. We gave you a little bit of background about the district and what we're about, what we do. Gave you an update on some of the activities and projects that we have going on.